Give Me Half by Stuart J. Murphy, illustrated by G. Brian Karras, and read by Janet Ginsberg. A math start story about understanding halves from HarperCollins Children's Books. What if your brother had one whole pizza? You'd want half, of course. Just how much is half a pizza? And thinking ahead to dessert, what is a half pack of cupcakes? I have one whole pizza, and it's all for me. I'm going to get some pizza. Just you wait and see. I know you want some pizza, sis. You only get one slice. You'd better give me more than that. Why can't you be nice? You have to share the pizza. It must be split in two. The pieces should be cut the same for each of you. 1/2 pizza and 1/2 pizza make one whole pizza. 1/2 and 1/2 is 1. 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1. What is that behind her back? The last can of juice, I think. If he takes some juice from me, I won't have much to drink. I gave you half of mine, so you must share yours too. I'll give you just a sip, but not until I'm through. Split the juice in half. Again, you have to share, and when you pour it out, make sure that you pour fair. 1/2 can of juice and 1/2 can of juice make one whole can of juice. 1/2 and 1/2 is 1. 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1. I know she has some cupcakes. I saw her with a pack. I'm going to hide my cupcakes and save them for a snack. Hey, what's that on your chair? You'd better give me some. I'm going to eat them both myself and leave you just a crumb. Your cupcakes must be shared, and do I need repeat? You both get half the pack, and don't you two dare cheat. 1 cupcake and 1 cupcake make a pack of 2 cupcakes. 1 and 1 is 2. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 is 1/2 of 2. I have a stack of cookies, and you get just 1 bite. You'd better give me half that stack, or else I'll start a fight. Hey, wait! Too late. Food fight. There are cookies on the floor. There's pizza everywhere. There's juice spilled on the table and sticky stuff under my chair. We're going to be in trouble. We've made a great big mess. But I have made no more than you, and you have made no less. We'd better each clean half. There's so much work to do. We'll be done in half the time, if Buddy helps us too.
Hey guys, this is Miss Loftus, and we're going to start the second lesson of how to tell time. Now, yesterday's lesson, we did telling time to the hour. So all we did was o'clock, like 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Today we're going to review that and keep doing hour, but we're also going to pull in half hour, which means 30 minutes past. So that keyword 30 is what we're going to talk about today. Here's my clock. And let's just go back and review. First, I'm just going to put this down, and I want us to remember how many hours are in one day. 24. And that means how many times does the hands go around the clock? They go around 2 times in one day. So the numbers go 1 to 12, and then we have AM and PM. AM means in the morning time, and PM means at night time. So we might have 8 o'clock in the morning, and it might be daylight outside. But we also might have 8 o'clock at night, and it might be dark outside. So we've got to make sure we know what time of day we're talking about too. All right, so let's go ahead and start reviewing what we learned yesterday with our little anchor chart. What does the clock say? So I'm just going to pick a time. I'm not going to show it to you. I'm going to see if you know it. All right, you ready? Let's look at it. The short hour hand is on the 2, and the long minute hand is on the 12. Now, what does that mean? This means o'clock. I'm going to write that on this board. Maybe. Let's try. Yeah. So that means o'clock when it's pointing to the 12. Now we're going to write the time in here. Remember what I told you yesterday, just like tens and ones. When you're thinking about a 2-digit number, we can't mix up the tens and ones. In this spot, we put the hour, and in this spot, we put the minutes. So the short hour hand is 2. So let's write that on here. And the long minute hand, where the minutes go, is on the 12. Now we don't write 12. What do we write? It's pointing to the 12, but remember yesterday's lesson I said that means 0, 0. And it means 0, 0 because it's 0 minutes past that hour. It's exactly 2 o'clock, so it's on 0. It's kind of like a starting place. Analog clock, 2 o'clock. Digital clock, 2 o'clock. Let's do another one. All right, 2 o'clock. So let's say I'm thinking about a time of day when I usually cook supper for my family. So I know it's going to be in the evening time. Let's do this one and see if you know it. This is around supper time. Looks like a straight line, up and down. So where is our hour hand pointing? Short hand is the hour hand to the 6. It goes in the hour spot on the digital clock. Pointing up to the top, we know that means o'clock. And o'clock is 0, 0. 6 o'clock. Now I'm going to start talking to you about what it means when you hear half past. You might hear your dad ask your mom, what time is it? And they might say, it's 5:30. What does that mean? Think about if you have a circle. Think about a circle. Just like the book that you listened to before my video. You have a circle and you want to cut it in half. You take 2 equal pieces. Half. And we've kind of talked about that during our lessons with shapes and circles. So if you look at this, it is a circle. So if we want to talk about half, I'm going to draw a line. Let me move these hands out of the way. Don't pay attention to the hands. I'm going to draw a line straight down the middle, like this. So this is half, and this is half. If this was a pizza, I could eat half, and I could give you half. Half means 2 equal parts. So when we're looking at a clock, we wouldn't cut a clock in half to have 2 equal parts. But it's important to know half because when you hear someone say it's half past, that means the minute hand is not on the 12 anymore. It's no longer on the 12. That means it's all the way on the other half. It's on the 6. So straight up and down, o'clock. But then when it moves and it comes down to the 6, that means half past. That means 30. And you can kind of see a little 30 right here on my clock. And if we were in the classroom, all of my students would have little clocks that look just like this, and they could see the 30 to themselves. So anytime you see a clock and the hand is pointing straight down to the 6, that means 30. That means like 10:30 or 4:30. That means it's 30 minutes past the hour. It's half past the hour. Another trick I want you to look at is anytime this minute hand comes down to the 6 for 30, the tricky part is the hour hand is not touching a number anymore, so it won't look like this. The hour hand will be between two numbers. And that's what's tricky to all the first graders I have ever taught, is when this hour hand is between two numbers. Because you're thinking, is it 10:30 or is it 11:30? Because it's not touching the 10 or the 11. It's right between them. And so what I want you to know and what I want you to remember is, think about how old you are. Are you 6 or are you 7? Or are you 8? If you're 6, you're not 7 yet. So you can't say I'm 7. You have to say I'm 6. If you're 7, you can't say I'm 8 because you're not really 8. That's just like with time. It's between the 10 and 11. It's not touching the 10. It's not touching the 11. But we're going to talk about what time it really is. With the minute hand being half past the hour, that makes this hand halfway between these two numbers. So looking at this exact time, 10 is here, 11 is here. So we know that the clock hands go this way. So what I want you to know is this hour hand has already been at 10 o'clock. But it has not been to 11 o'clock yet. It's not touching the 11 yet. Just like you. If you're 6, you're not 7 yet. Or if you're 7, you're not 8 yet. So this clock is 10, but it's not 11 yet. So our time is going to be 10 because we always go with the number that it's already been or right past 10. And then my minute hand is pointing to that number, 30. So let's write 30 in the minute spot. And that is what 10:30 looks like. 10:30. 10, even though it's not touching the 10, it's still 10:30. Another way to say this is half past 10. Half past 10, 10:30. You are going to be having some, they're called exit tickets in your packet for today, and I think tomorrow has an exit ticket as well. And you're going to see the words half past. And I know one of the exit tickets says, describe what the short hand represents and describe what the long hand represents. So let's do that together. I don't have the paper with me, but we can talk about it. So let's look at this time. What do you think this short hand means? It goes in this spot. That's the hour spot. The short hand means the hour, 4. So I could write on my paper. Sorry guys, that is life with a 4-year-old. You never know. All right, but I do want to keep talking about your papers that you have. I think they're called exit tickets. Some of the questions on your exit tickets say, describe the shorthand and describe the longhand. And all I want you to really know is that the shorthand means the hour and that the longhand means the number of minutes, the minutes. And that's really all that you need to describe on those sheets. You also have some questions that say draw on the clock or fill in the clock 5:30. And that's what this looks like. So we know half past means halfway down. It's not at the top. It's halfway at the bottom. So you are going to draw your minute hand at the 6. And if the hour said 5:30, the tricky part for you guys to remember is half past does not touch the 5. It's halfway between the 5 and the 6. So 5:30 is the same thing as 5:05. So that's something else you might see on your math sheets in your packet. We're going to keep doing time. We're going to keep reviewing it. And this week we're also going to be doing partitioning shapes, which is kind of like what I did with the clock when I drew the line and I showed you half and half. We're going to do some different shapes and how to partition them in halves and how to partition them into 4 equal parts. So that's something we'll do later this week. But I am going to include in this little video some pictures and videos from me going around my house, finding all of my clocks and telling the time and looking at the time on them. I counted all the clocks in my house, and I have 5 analog clocks and, what was it, 6 digital clocks. That's a lot of clocks. So I'm going to post next on some of my clocks that I have in my house. All right, stay tuned. Have a clock that has pictures on it, and these are all pictures of my son when he was born, but this little clock is really cute. The time on it says 6:30 because you can't really tell, but both of the hands are pointing to the 6. So this is a little clock that I have in my son's bedroom. It only has the numbers 12, 3, 6, and 9. So looking at this clock, the short hour hand is on the 9 and the long minute hand is on the 12. So what time would this be? 9, it's pointing to the 9, 9 o'clock. This clock actually always stays on 9 o'clock because it needs a battery.